Today we are going to talk about how to film yourself, or at least how I film my videos, and maybe you can learn something from it, so stay tuned because I might have some tips and tricks for you. When it comes to gear, well, there's a couple of things you need to think of. One key feature in your videos is sound, and on my videos I'm using a Sennheiser Mke400, but I also use this one right here. It has a wireless mic system from DJI. If you didn't know, sound is more important than the quality of your video. You shoot a video in 8K, but if the sound is crap, nobody's gonna watch it. When it comes to cameras, well, that depends completely on your budget or your preferences, what you need of a camera and what you prefer. I'm using the Lumix S5 II, but I also have a new addition to the camera bag, and that is the Sony CVE1. And what these two cameras does is they cover all my needs when it comes to shooting handheld or shooting slow motion for B-roll. But if you are a beginner, I would say that your phone is more than just fine, because you have insane stabilization, you have good autofocus system, and you also have 4K 60, and you also have time-lapse mode. So you can do like the time-lapse shots and you can do slow-mo shots. And when it comes to POV shots or action shots of any kind, using this one right here, and that is the DJI Action 2. It can shoot up to 4K 120 FPS, and you also have the magnetic bottom, so you can attach it to things. You also have good stabilization. For my needs, well, it's doing its thing, and nothing more, nothing less. But DJI, if you ever see this, you can send me something else I can try. Something you also need to have is this right here. It's a tripod. My suggestion is to invest in a good tripod, because a tripod is something you can have for a long time. Now it's hanging on its last threads, but if you think about it, 15 years of usage, that's a long time. There is always three kind of shots when I'm shooting my videos, and that is the wide, the tighter, and the detail shot. It doesn't matter what kind of video I'm shooting, I always think of these three shots. There's a couple of different shooting techniques that I'm using. One of those is time lapses. Time lapses is something like I often use to like speed up time to get you like further ahead in the video. So let's say that I'm doing a day in my life vlog. I usually get up like 5:30 in the morning and I'm at work at 7. That is like a perfect like B-roll or just speed up time to bring you along later in the video. As you can see in my time lapses, I often use the drag effect in my videos, and the best way to get that effect is to like record something that moves in some sort of speed, because if you are like shooting something that barely doesn't move, you don't get the same effect. But if you are doing time lapses as like with cars or anything that moves, you will get that effect, and I think it's fun, and I also think it looks kind of cool, so that is why you often see it in my videos. One of the shots you've probably seen a couple of times here on the channel is the out of focus shot with me walking towards something, and this is actually how I set it up. I'm choosing this small little branch here as my focus point, and then I'm just gonna go into the shot. That is the shot that is called like get the shot, go get the camera back or something. So when it comes to filming yourself, like especially in vlogs, this is the part where I think it's the most fun and probably the most like where I can get the most creative side of me out. That is shooting the B-roll or the cinematic sequences, especially where I put like most of my effort into the video. I want that part of the video to be like where people go like, oh, that was good, or wow, that was beautiful. When it comes to shooting the cinematic sequences or the B-rolls, I'm using 24 FPS, I'm using 60 FPS, and I'm using 120 FPS. So if there's one thing that I've learned on the way is that film more than you think, because when it comes to the editing part, if you have a lot of choices when it comes to B-roll, things are gonna be a lot easier. Because if you have a lot of options to choose from, things are going to be easier to stitch up and match with music. So since we are using a 1635 as my main lens, and as in this case I have the wide 60mm, and for the normal shot I will go probably like 26, 28 or something, and for the tight shot I will go for 35. This is like the wide angle or the establishing shot that I'm showing where I am, or I want to show off with a B-roll shot or something. After I'm shooting my wide shot or establishing shot, I'm gonna go for like a little tighter shot, like a 26, to just show off some some small details of stuff. And then you have your like total detail shot, and that is like a maximum of zoom, showing off some detail like this. There's a couple of things that I always try to add in the B-roll shots if there's possibility. One thing is the sun, and I'm trying to like incorporate some sun flares. If we take this giant fallen tree here, I'm trying to see where the sun is, and the sun is peaking right there. So what I'm trying to do is that I'm gonna pan the camera slowly, and then the sun comes in, and there's one little trick that I'm using. And for the B-roll parts, I'm using different frame rates. I'm using everything from 4K 24 to 4K 120, but I also incorporate like drone shots of landscapes and sunsets and sunrises and time lapses, and yeah, anything I can come up Last thing to consider is time. It's going to take a lot of time to shoot a video of yourself, and it's going to be a lot of time to set up the camera, taking the shot, running back, get the camera, running off to the next shot, set up the camera, go back, get the camera. If this is your first time here, well, here's another couple of videos right up here somewhere. If you like this video, well, please give it a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. I hope to see you in the next one, so take care and don't get lost. Bye.